man accused of yesterday's subway firebombing planned more attacks.
In sports, some boys' high school basketball highlights one day early because of the holiday.
As we move into the Christmas weekend, will warm temperatures move out? I'll tell you in the weather. Join us.
You know what I mean? Number 5. Number 5. Number 5. Number 5. Oops. I want to be kissed by you, just you. Nobody else but you.
Number 5. To those special men who gave you their best all year long, give them our best. This holiday season, give the new Gillette Sensor XL with microfins for the world's best shave. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Sure. I use Tylenol for aches and pains and fever, but I found that Excedrin relieves headaches better. How did I find out? I had a headache. That's how I found out.
Excedrin, the headache medicine.
Coming up on NBC, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Stay tuned. Your local news is next.
Just ahead on the WHIZ News at 11, a house fire in New Concord today sent one woman to the hospital. We'll have details.
Seniors and police got together today and had a ball at the annual Christmas party. I'm Kimberly Adams, and I'll have that story for you next on the WHIZ News.
Stereo, WHIZ-TV, Zanesville. Now, WHIZ-TV reports the latest news and information from this region, the weather forecast for this vicinity, and the complete sports picture for this area and the world. When southeastern Ohio needs to know, WHIZ-TV is there.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Mutual Federal Savings Bank. Expect a difference in banking service.
Police say a firebombing suspect was trying to create an atmosphere of fear in New York subways. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. They say Edward Leary's goal was to get money to stop the attacks. The unemployed computer technician was critically injured Thursday when a homemade firebomb went off on a stopped subway train. He faces 45 counts of attempted murder. A law enforcement source says papers discovered at Leary's home indicate he planned similar attacks. Investigators theorize Leary meant for his crude device to ignite when the train was under the East River, but they say it went off prematurely in his lap. One of the survivors of last week's commuter plane crash in Raleigh, North Carolina, says he feels very lucky right now. Don Merkel was one of 5 passengers on board an American Eagle plane to survive the accident on December 13th. 15 others on board, including the pilots, died. Merkel, with his wife Lois by his side, met reporters today. He said he remembers very little about the accident. He recalls getting ready to land and then everything else is blank. Merkel was asked whether he thought about why he lived and so many others died.
Yeah, it's a curtain. As usual, you know, God in his time will if he does have something special for me, will let me know about it. Obviously, I'm very lucky right now. And we'll see what happens from here.
Glad that he's coming home and
Glad to be alive.
glad he's alive. And just anxious to get home.
Merkel flies about 3 times a week and said he will continue to fly and continue to travel on American Eagle. He flew home to Chicago today on board an American Airlines jet. Defense Secretary William Perry said today he's encouraged that North Korea has turned over the body of a U.S. pilot. The remains of Chief Warrant Officer David Heilman were transferred today. He was killed when his helicopter strayed into North Korean airspace Saturday and was shot down. NBC's Bruce Hall reports.
The body of helicopter pilot David Heilman has been returned to the United States a week after his chopper was apparently shot down about 4 miles inside North Korea. There was a solemn ceremony at the truce village of Panmunjom as 6 North Korean soldiers handed over the plain wooden casket to the U.S.-led United Nations Command. Officials said that it appears the pilot died when the helicopter crash-landed before the North Korean troops reached the site.
Granted him comfort, peace, and solace.
Getting the body released from the North Koreans was a difficult diplomatic process.
The negotiations I held with the North Koreans were tough, were difficult. The arrangement we have is the best deal that I could get.
That arrangement means that Warrant Officer Bobby Hall will be released soon, possibly by Christmas.
And I do think that he's in good condition. He's obviously out, isolated in the military base, probably undertaking some interrogation.
But officials concede they do not know where Hall is being held.
We have intelligence collection resources which are very good at answering some questions. They are not very good at locating an individual in a closed society.
So now officials are just waiting for Hall to be released. Bruce Hall, NBC News.
Up next, we'll have the latest on the negotiations taking place to unionize Muskingum County Sheriff's deputies. Stay with us.
Have you ever been asked by a friend to recommend a bank or a banking professional? Probably you said, most banks are alike. At Mutual Federal, we believe we are different. We want to dispel the myth that all banks are the same. We provide quality banking services to small and mid-sized businesses, professionals, and individuals. When we say expect a difference in banking services, we mean it. Give us a call.
Expect a difference. Mutual Federal Savings Bank.
A New Concord woman escaped serious injury after flames enveloped her home tonight. Fire officials say the homeowner suffered only minor injuries from a fall and was treated for smoke inhalation and minor burns. The victim, whose name was not available, was released in fair condition from Good Samaritan Medical Center. New Concord Fire and EMS employee Tim Barkley says 11 personnel responded to the fire around 4:30 this evening. Barkley says there was a 35% structure loss at the Cedar Circle home, and most of the contents were destroyed. 6 personnel from Perry Township Fire responded as backup. Barkley says the cause of the fire is under investigation. Efforts to unionize Muskingum County Sheriff's deputies continue. Negotiations have been underway since November. Today, Chief Deputy Bo Keck met with the Muskingum County Commissioners. The commissioners unanimously decided to reject a fact finder's report containing dozens of unresolved issues. Chief Deputy Keck tells WHIZ's Donna Wilson the information contained in the report can only be released by the State Relations Employee Board. That information will be available on Tuesday. Chief Deputy Keck says now that the report has been rejected, union officials and management will work until the matter is settled.
Union and the management to get back together and see if we can ratify a contract. If not, it goes to an arbitrator, and the arbitrator then, after we present our case, tells us basically what the contract's going to say.
Chief Deputy Keck says although there are many issues that still need to be ironed out, a lot of the issues have been settled. He says things are going as expected.
There are approximately 20 unresolved issues. We've resolved around 30 issues already. So, we really feel we've done a good job, both sides, and it's been a lot of work. We've started in November, early November, and we're to this point. We just have some issues that we can't agree on.
Okay. There are 3 other groups that have filed for unionization. Chief Deputy Keck says officers ranking sergeant and above have just been certified by the Employee Relations Board. Dispatchers, Central Patrol operators, and civilian correction officers are included in one group, and cooks make up the other group filing for unionization. Workers at the Noble County Human Services Department won't be walking the picket lines. Noble County Commissioners approved a new contract today. Members of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees ratified the agreement last night. They had planned to strike next week. Sales tax is going up a half cent in Noble County. Commissioner John Carter said today they had little choice but raise the tax rate to 6.5%. Carter says the increase takes effect February 1st and will generate $175,000 a year for the county. County Auditor David Fleming says the county already had a 1% sales tax on top of the state's 5%. He says most of the county and the region have a 6.5% total sales tax. Up next, what you should know if you're planning a holiday party. Stay with us.
This special time of the year finds us all in high spirits, filled with good cheer.
It's often said that Christmas is for children. And we hope that each of you can find a child in your heart, that the spirit and hope and wonder will enrich your life and the lives of those around you.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from our big family at Mutual Federal.
We thank you for your patronage this past year and look forward to serving you in the new year.
Merry Christmas! That's good.
When planning a party this holiday season, it's important that you keep your guests in mind. Recovering alcoholics and non-drinkers should be considered in your party plans. Denise Williams is a family counselor with Good Samaritan Medical Center and says a single drink can cause a recovering alcoholic to relapse. She says those planning any function should remember that simple fact.
Provide non-alcoholic beverages as an alternative, pop or eggnog. I think it's always a good idea to, if you have something that's spiked like punch or eggnog, to let other people know so that they can make a decision whether or not they want to drink something alcoholic or something that's non-alcoholic in nature. Always encouraging someone to have a driver to take them home if they're going to be drinking, and encouraging them to have a designated driver. Not pushing people to drink alcohol if they choose not to. And sometimes at parties the focus is on drinking something alcoholic. And if someone chooses not to drink alcohol, then allow them to do that without a fight.
Williams also suggests the host be willing to let a person who has had too much to drink stay overnight. Families and friends of recovering alcoholics should be aware of the possible signs of relapse and act immediately.
Well, it usually doesn't take long for the family to recognize if their family member is back into drinking. Just common signs of chemical dependency or the inability to stop drinking, not necessarily drinking too much, but just going back to drinking. Because if they're recovering, they need to be really absent from drugs and alcohol. And so if they drink or use, then they are back into their old habits. And as far as, the family needs to encourage them to get back into recovery, going back to their counselor, going back to AA meetings, and getting involved in the program that they had used to help them stay sober to begin with.
It's recommended that the bar be closed at least 1 hour before the end of the party, making beverages like coffee and tea available. A holiday tradition brightened up the Senior Center today. The Zanesville Fraternal Order of Police teamed up with hundreds of senior citizens for its annual Christmas party. Nearly 1,500 seniors packed the center for some good old-fashioned food, fun, and entertainment. And for many seniors like Mildred Bradley, the party helps ease the pain of a lonely holiday.
Lots to me, because I lost my husband 2 years ago, and I still kind of don't stay away because I miss him. But I've been coming here ever since '86 and joined all their Christmas parties. So we have a good time over here. It's my home, away from home.
More than 25 officers and members of the FOP volunteered their time today to give thanks to the older community.
We ask an awful lot of the senior citizens throughout the year, and it seems the senior citizens have always been there for us. So we take this one day out of the year to show them some thanks and put on a dinner for them.
And for those seniors who couldn't make it to the party, a plate of goodies was delivered to their home. Talk about an early Christmas present. 2 Ohio families have hit big lottery jackpots. A Youngstown couple won the $25 million Super Lotto jackpot from last night's Ohio lottery game, and an East Liverpool couple won $43 million in the Pennsylvania lottery. That drawing was December 3rd. Some Spaniards will have a truly Merry Christmas after winning what has been billed the world's richest lottery. Spanish TV today announced the winners of the $255 million top prize. Young boys and girls announced the winners in a sing-song for the first prize, second prize, and third prize at the lottery headquarters on television. This is the annual Christmas lottery dubbed El Gordo, which means the fat one, and is considered the country's favorite holiday tradition. Spaniards spent an estimated $1.43 billion on tickets at $270 a pop in hopes of winning the big one. Well, the little ones may still be asking Santa for dolls and bats and other toys, but from what retailers are seeing, electronics of all types are the hot sellers. Tech is trendy, and this year gadgets are in. Carlos Harrison reports.
Electronics are hot. From a Timex watch that talks to your computer and stores your appointments and numbers, to the VCR we've all been waiting for, that sets its own clock so we don't have to figure out how to. Electronic games are in, and of course, multimedia computers.
There's like a regular video in here of a guy talking and stuff. This is great. I didn't expect this.
The sound is incredible. I feel like I'm watching a cartoon on television.
'Tis the gift of the season, with industry experts predicting that as many as 1 million new machines will make their way into homes this holiday season, with most shoppers needing only one simple tip to make the right choice.
When you're looking for a computer, you want to find out if it's easy to use. That's really important.
Cell phones have joined forces with computing power to produce Bell's Simon. It's more than a phone. It's a touchscreen fax, appointment book, and sketchpad. Digital mini discs are taking the place of cassettes as the music medium of choice for the active crowd. And the #1 item at local Sharper Image stores is the Voice Organizer, a digital recorder that stores your messages and responds to your voice commands for recalling appointments. The price?
$229.
We're all addicted to digital sound at this point because we've gotten used to the quality of CD. The idea that we can now record digitally and have that kind of information, that kind of big storage in something that'll literally fit in a shirt pocket, I think that's very exciting, and it's a very sensible idea.
Of course, ever popular every year are the stress relievers, massagers, from your feet to your seat, to your back, to your head. Of course, at the prices some of these things, like this vibrating chair, you're going to need the relief from the stress. You can put a giant screen TV under your tree for anywhere from $1,000 to about $4,000, and you can put a homemade movie on it with the